So we're back with 4.2.1, right? How can I solve inequalities? And we're on day 2, which is focusing on 2 more problems, 4-60 and 4-61. And we're sticking with that same those 2 equations that we had, those 2 quadratics, the yellow and the orange, if you recall from 4-58. So the yellow and the orange, okay? And we're looking at 2 friends, Bert and Ernie, and they are trying to think of ways to solve this differently. And they said, why can't we change this into one parabola? So it talks about this guy, Ernie, put the equation into this. And we're like, well, how did he get that? How did that work? Where did those 2 yellow and orange equations or inequalities turn into x squared plus x minus 6? Well, we can clearly see that if we took the 2 equations, right, and we just make it an equal sign, we're just kind of trying to manipulate the numbers. And if we bring everything over to one side, watch what we get. So subtract the 4x, everything to the left, and subtract the 3, we get x squared plus 1x minus 6. And so is that okay to use in trying to solve this? And the answer is going to be yes. Okay, so now we're going to go and graph this on our graphing calculator. So it's going to be a little tricky. I'm going to try to hold up my graphing calculator with the window here. But we're going to graph x squared plus x minus 6. And we're going to see how does this give us the same answer as before. Now remember, when we move everything over, we got a 0 on the right. Okay, so we are going to look where we get a 0. So we're going to actually graph both of these. We're going to graph the y1 as x squared plus x minus 6. And we're going to graph the y2 as 0. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that into my calculator. And you're going to have to give me a moment so I can get it set up so you're not going to watch me type everything. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to hit my camera. All right, I have my equations, right? Just like I said, I'm going to hit graph. And you're going to see the red and the blue. There's the parabola. And there's the y equals 0. Now we are looking where they intersect. Well, it's very clear that it's -3 and 2, just like we knew from 4-58. So -3 and 2. And again, you can always do second, calculate 5 for intersect. And you are moving the cursor into this area. Okay, whoops, sorry. And we got a -3 right here. And we're going to go second, calculate 5 again, and move into this area here. Okay, and we get the 2. All right, so we've got those 2 answers. The x equals -3 and the x equals +2, right? And now to solve this, right, I'm kind of putting all of these part B and C all together. I'm not going to graph it on the right here because we did it on the calculator, but we are going to do the sections, right? We are going to put our number line with -3 and 2. And we know, if you look at our original, it was a less than symbol. So we are going to have open circles there. So I'm going to draw an open circle. And we have section A, B, and C, right? So we have to test them to see which ones come out true and which ones come out false. So remember, our original was x squared plus x minus 6 is less than 0. We are going to put numbers from each section in for those x's and see if it comes out less than 0 or not. So if I do section A, I'm going to plug in, how about a -4? So I'm going to put -4s right here. And I'm going to, again, show you on Desmos because it's just a little easier for you to see instead of me holding up the calculator. And -6. Okay, I get 6. Is 6 less than 0? No, that's not good. All right, let's try section B. So we're going to put, how about, let's see, let's remove those negative 4s. What if I put in a 0? When I change these to zeros, again over here to zeros, negative 6. Is negative 6 less than 0? Yeah, it definitely is. And then section C, I'm going to put anything bigger than 2. Let's put a 3 in there. So I'll change these to a 3. Okay, so here we go. Put a 3 and a 3. And I get 6. Is 6 less than 0? No good again. So the only section that worked was section B. So in between section B, I will color that in. Okay, let's do something exactly like what we just did in in part D. Okay, we are going to solve x squared minus 3x minus 10 greater than 0. So we're going to put that into our calculator, and I'm going to pull it up on Desmos just for now because it's so much easier for me to show you. But we are going to have a y1 equals x squared minus 3x minus 10, and we're going to have a y equals 0. Okay, you would do this in your graphing calculator, and if you can see here, very similar. Okay, again, we're going to look negative 2 and 5. Okay, again, you're going to do the second trace, and you'll find the intersection of those. I did it on Desmos. Negative 2 and positive 5 are the boundary points, and we don't have to graph it to the right. Negative 2, positive 5. And we have section A, B, and C. Oh, one thing I forgot in part C is to write this algebraically. And we know when the coloring is in between, you're going to put your boundary points. And these are just less than symbols because it's in between. There is no less than or equal to because they are not filled in. All right, we found negative 2 and 5 for part D. We notice that our symbol is a greater than or equal to, so we are going to color in these circles. Okay. And now we're going to test. And I'm going to show, since I have a lot of room here, let me try to make this a little smaller. I'm going to show all the tests and write them all out. So section A, let's use a negative 3. Okay, we are looking to see if it's bigger than 0. So I'm going to put a negative 3 in here. And I'm going to pull up Desmos again. Negative, make sure you're using parentheses, because when you square it, it's a mess if you don't use it. I get an 8. Is 8 greater than or equal to 0? It is. Let's look at section B. Let's use 0 is nice again. So 0 squared minus 3 times 0 minus 10. Is that greater than or equal to 0? We're going to change these to 0. I'm going to change the negative 3 again to 0. And I get negative 10. Negative 10 is not greater than 0. That one does not work. And section C, let's choose, I don't know, a 7. Any number that's bigger than 5, basically. 7 minus 3 times 7. Okay, so again, go up to here, change these to 7. And you can also use Desmos for calculations, but you can only use your graphing calculator on your test. So you want to make sure that you know how to do these on your graphing calculator. 18 greater than or equal to 0, it sure is. So section A and C are the winners. And here we go, we've got going outward. These are the OR answers, basically, when we're going to write that. It's x is less than or equal to negative 2, or x is greater than or equal to 5. One more problem to do for day 3, and I will be back with that video.